One of the things that's long intrigued me about the stories contained in the Bible is how the characters, as we know most of them, didn't start out that way. They, except for Jesus, weren't always the holy, righteous pillars of strength and virtue that we hold them up to be. Peter wasn't always the rock on which the church was built. Paul wasn't always the author of a large chunk of the New Testament. King David wasn't always king, nor was he always the boy who slayed a giant. Esther and Sarah weren't always the prominent figures that history has made them out to be. Maybe my favorite example of this is Moses in the Old Testament. Remember that he was born at a time and place where the Hebrew people were seen as a threat to the Egyptian empire, and the Pharaoh ordered that all male Hebrew children were to be killed as a way to oppress that people group. Famously, Moses' mother placed him in a basket among the reeds on the bank of the Nile, where he is discovered by Pharaoh's daughter and raised as an Egyptian. After he reaches adulthood as a part of the Egyptian royal family, he murders an Egyptian man who was beating a Hebrew man. And he flees to Midian. It was here that his life begins to change. As his story unfolds, God appears to him on Mount Horeb in a burning bush. And he is commanded then by God, Moses is commanded then by God to return to Egypt, demand that God's chosen people be freed from slavery, and then Moses is to lead them into God's promised land. Now, there's a lot more to Moses' story, lots of ups and downs, struggles and difficulties. But when his days were done, his legacy was that, quote, he was more humble than any other man. That comes from Numbers chapter 12. And according to Deuteronomy 34:10, there has not arisen a prophet since in Israel like Moses, who God knew face to face. I don't know about you, but I consider that a pretty deep and heavy and impactful legacy. But the reason I mention all of this is that we should never underestimate the power of God to change lives and situations. Nor should we ever finish writing a story, ours or someone else's, before it's actually finished. We too often have a tendency to judge a person or a situation prematurely. Again, we even do this to ourselves and forget that oftentimes God isn't done working yet. Now, maybe this is a word of encouragement to some of you because you're struggling for any number of reasons and you need some hope. The Bible is full of stories where the hope of God comes bursting forth in the midst of difficult times. But maybe this is a word of challenge to some of you because you've been guilty, as I have been in the past, of writing people's stories prematurely before God was done. Deciding in our own minds that certain people are worthy of God's love while others aren't because who they are, where they've been, what they've done. I wonder what people would have written about Moses after he fled to Midian if they didn't wait until the end of the story. I wonder if the same things would have been said about him that were said in Numbers and in Deuteronomy. See, my hope is that we be a patient people. We be patient and open to see where God is moving in our world and see how God is moving us to be instruments of grace and love and hope which might, just might, change the ending of someone else's story. Now, I hope you all are doing well, and I hope everyone is staying safe. But as I have said over the past several months, if there is anything that we can do for you all, please let us know. If there's anything we can do to help you or someone you know, please let us know. Now, I look forward to worshiping with you all on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, either in person or online. Have a great rest of the week, and God bless.